Hello everyone, welcome to the Belt and Road Face to Face.
The Pakistani sugar is one of the best sugar.
Because if you eat too much sugar, it might cause some kind of health issues.
And if both of these two countries cooperate with each other, I think that would be the best option.
First and foremost, that is the market. We should focus more on agriculture sector.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Belt and Road Face to Face. Our program is co-produced by China Economic Net and Vash News Television. And I'm Zoon Khan from China Economic Net, and today I'm pleased to be joined in our studio by Dr. Sajid Khursheed, who is a teacher at the Canadian International School of Beijing, and Wang Shida, Associate Research Professor, China Institute of Contemporary International Relations. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's start the first part of our program, Hotspot. Co-organized by the China Sugar Association and Office of Sugar Industry Development of Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region, the 2019 China Sugar Expo World Sugar Seminar will take place at the Nanning International Convention and Exhibition Center from May 24th to 26, 2019. As the international sugar industry is in a period of great change, sugar excess production has depressed sugar prices globally, whereas domestic sugar production cost is high. Therefore, domestic and international sugar price gap is obvious, and the sugar producing companies suffer severe losses. The expo will gather well-known sugar-related enterprises and top talents and carry out exchanges on the theme of accelerating the transformation and upgrading of sugar industry and sharing the business opportunities of Silk Road cooperation, which will enhance sugar industries to reduce costs and increase efficiency and bridge supply and demand and high-tech applications. Dr. Sajid, I'll first come to you. We know that the sugar industry worldwide is in a bit of a fix. What exactly is the scenario if you look at China and Pakistan?
As sugar is one of the necessities among our daily life routines, and both Pakistan and China are one of the important countries in this region in South Asia. The Pakistani sugar is one of the best sugar in the world. It's thick in size and sweeter as compared to the other sugar exporting countries. That's why it's probably using the less in quantity. So the people who are using the different products. Pakistan is an agricultural country, of course, and its geographical location is very important. And we have all 4 seasons. So that's why we have a very good crop in all 4 seasons together. And agriculture is the main economic hub in Pakistan in particular. It contributes almost around 30% of the country's GDP. And Pakistan is already exporting sugar to China, which is under the free trade agreement which is signed recently. And it's supposed to export 300,000 tons of sugar in the 9 months' time, which is approximately half of it is already exported to China.
What about the current process of matchmaking require technology transfer? Do you think that both the countries, we have an idea that there is immense potential and already this is a comparative advantage for both China and Pakistan, but what can further be done?
Up till now, China is, I think, among one of the lowest sugar consumption country, per capita in the world. I think China's sugar consumption per capita is only about 1/3 of the average sugar consumption per capita of the world level. But you see that in recent years, with more and more emphasis on the health issues, because if you eat too much sugar, it might cause some kind of health issues. I think in the near future, the global demand for sugar in the developed countries might decline. But I think the developing countries like China is different stories. It is said that China is one of the biggest potential sugar consumption market in the future. So that means a huge opportunity. Up till now, I think the China's sugar production capacity is around 10 million tons per year, while I think the general demand, domestic demand, is around 15 million tons, so that 5 million tons gap. So that all depends on import. So I think Pakistan is really in a good position to fulfill this kind of market gaps. And as my friend rightly mentioned that Pakistan is one of the largest sugar producer in the world and also very tasty. I think the annual sugar production is around 6 million tons. As we already know that Pakistan already started to export the sugars in China. You mentioned about the technology transfer. I think, you see, according to my humble knowledge, up till now, Pakistan had around maybe 100 factories, sugar factories, while I think the majority of these kind of factories are built in 1950s or 60s. That means it need upgrade. So that I think Chinese companies are good at this kind of construction things, so might be some kind of cooperation. But first and foremost, that is the market. The China's market really is the number one priority, I think, for Pakistan sugar factories.
Globally, there's a need to intervene on behalf of, there needs to be some management done.
Definitely.
Given that the prices are falling, but the cost is not. So do you think this can have an impact on existing cooperation?
Definitely, to some extent, because as we're talking about the Pakistan, no doubt they have like the second largest exporter of the sugar after the textile. But still, in our country, we are missing the use of technology in the sugar industry sector, because most of the sugar mills that they are producing the sugar from the sugar cane, the raw material, they are working on the old traditional methods. And if, like as we discussed about, it's a comparative advantage, the China has a technology, and we have the land, we have the best fertilizers there, we have the labor itself, which is available in huge quantity. And if both of these two countries cooperate with each other, I think that would be the best option. And secondly, these kind of seminars that really helps the people in terms of like the farmers there who are producing the crops, in terms of the investors who are investing into these kind of sugar industry, and also those people who are importing and exporting from either sides, they can also take advantage. Because if we are transferring technology from China to Pakistan, and the people are all there, and they're using those technology and enhancing their production capacity, so in that way, that not only we are fulfilling the local demand, even we are exporting to China and the rest of the world.
And it's an important way to exchange ideas for what's emerging.
Exactly.
So, Mr. Wang, what about China's current capacity to produce? Like Dr. Sajid mentioned that relocation can be an ideal way for both countries to cooperate. Do you think so?
Definitely, we have a great potential to further cooperate. As we rightly mentioned, that Pakistan really a country which produces a lot of high quality agriculture product. But the only issue is that the lack of the food processing technology and the factories. You see, I think if my memory is right, 2015, I think Pakistan mangoes come to a harvest. But because the lack of this kind of deep processing technology, it did not meet the inspection and quarantine standard of some kind of developed country like Japan, so that it missed opportunities. So I think the deep processing technology and factory is the most important steps I think we should take forward in the near future.
With that, we will go to the Vash News television studio and see what they're concerned about.
पाकिस्तान और चीन हुरिया पाकिस्तान के शारकारी चीज़ा पहारेज़ा को लॉजिस्टिक कारा पुरना पे कारोबार कोतकाना ए बाबता चेवड़ी टेक्नोलॉजी और प्लानिंग बुतका.
The technology that we are talking about, as we discussed about the comparative advantage, there are some benefits for both Pakistan and China trade. The trade and economic cooperation, because already both of these two governments, they're working together in order to increase their trade volume from 2.2 billion to 3.6 billion by 2030, I guess the figure is. Not only the trade volume we have to increase, not only in the sugar industry, even the rest of the products. So what we can do is, there are lots of products other than the sugar, that we have rice, yarn, textile, the dental surgical equipments, which are really a good quality from Pakistan, and we can export to China itself. And according to the FTA agreement, the China gives the subsidies to Pakistani exporters to export their certain amount of products. 95% of excess they can export to China. Similarly, Chinese products already are in Pakistan in lots of sectors. Basically, it's a joint contribution. It's a win-win situation. If the China is exporting the excess production to Pakistan, the Pakistan is taking advantage of selling within and using within the local the cities and the country. Okay. Similarly, the Pakistan, if they exported the excess production to China and other countries, they are increasing their economic growth.
My humble opinion is that we take two steps. First step, maybe technologies in the agriculture sector, because we cannot build Rome in one day. Frankly speaking, at this stage, if we want to increase our trade volume, if we want to increase Pakistan export to China, maybe we should focus more on agriculture sector. So the technologies should be the cold storage, preservation technology, as well as deep processing technology. Phase 2, I think that is industries.
This is the next way forward.
Yes.
Okay. With that, we close the first segment of our program.
Oh, it's too much sweetie, we can't eat.
Plant a lot of sugar canes.
Low production of the sugar cane.
Road always comes first.
If the government is providing the support, this is going to be definitely a huge product.
You're watching the Belt and Road Face to Face. We are moving to the second part of our program, Figure. As reported by Express Tribune, Pakistan has so far exported 150,000 tons of sugar to China under a duty-free package offered by China. Pakistan is among the few countries that can produce cane sugar and beet sugar. Up till now, the number of sugar factories in Pakistan has increased to 90, and the sugar industry has become the country's second largest agricultural base industry. Food processing industries' demand for sugar, such as Pakistani pastries, sweets, ice cream, and soft drinks, account for about 60% of total consumption. There is such a long list of food items.
Exactly.
And I think our sweet food is much sweeter than
we can't
Chinese
live without
food.
Sweet things, you know.
We can't live without sweet things, and extremely sweet things.
Extremely sweet things.
So the extent and the quantity, both a lot. So sugar is really very important.
I remember sometimes I brought some mithai from Pakistan, which is really sweet. And I tried to give to my Chinese friends. I said, oh, it's too much sweetie, we can't eat. So this is true, absolutely right.
It's absolutely, and we eat so much of it.
And
why
this is something in our
fat?
tradition, in our culture.
Yeah.
After every meal, we must need something sweet.
Yes, it's a sunnat.
It's a sunnat. According to the official data, the Pakistan's sugarcane production is forecast around 72 million hectare tons this year. Is huge, in fact. And if you're talking about the advantages of the sugar industry in Pakistan, it's a large volume of labor available, as we discussed. There are lots of people in the small areas, villages and towns, they're willing to work. And there are lots of land, particularly in the central Punjab province, and which is famous for agriculture. And the large area of the land available, this is for sure. Sugar has high demand in almost everywhere in Pakistan. Like as we discussed, almost every 70-80% products, they use sugar canes. And especially the products which is made for the kids, they always have almost everything is like sweet things. The kids like sugar, in fact. And there is no low and high seasons in the industry. So it means that the sugar in demand, it's always like 24 and throughout the months and throughout the year. Market is open, so lots of potential in the industry. If you're talking about the other side in terms of disadvantages, that's low production of the sugar cane. Why? Because of the same factors we talked about. Technology is one of the things. And among other disadvantages, we talked about a less use of technology and high cost of production. Why high cost of production? Because we're using a very old-fashioned traditional systems of production, and that takes a lot of time and producing less in quantity. Okay. If you're using the latest methodologies of the CIM or the automation kind of systems, most of the machines are based off mechanical and automation systems. It's producing more in quantity in less time, in fact. So, and of course, the market is competitive. The people who are producing in our country, they are trying to sell on a high price. Rather, the government has some intervene into it. They set certain prices, but still the market, they want to get more profits, in fact. So these are the plus and the minus points that we are facing in our country, in fact.
I do believe Pakistan's sugar industry have huge advantages. I think my Pakistan friends already meant most of the advantages. For example, you see, really you plant a lot of huge amount of hectares of sugar canes. That already give you a very strong advantage in terms of raw material supplement. That is basic foundation for the sugar industry, stronger. Talk about the demand, I should say that, you see, as we already mentioned, that Pakistan people so love this kind of sweet food, and so that give you another strong advantage in terms of market. So that definitely a lot of advantages. But talk about the disadvantages. I think the low yields of sugarcane in Pakistan, I think that is the issue, because I think that is agriculture technology. That is not the food processing technology. That is agriculture technology. I think maybe we should focus more on the research of more high productivity sugarcane varieties. I think that is a great potential, because the land are the same. You say, well, Pakistan have a lot of land for plant crops like the sugar canes, but if we can have a much more developed seed, I think the production of sugar cane,
Which is what China is already doing.
Yes, China, you see, long-time agriculture country, and Chinese do focus on this kind of agriculture technology. I think if different companies from two countries can find a specific project to cooperate, I think that is much potential in the future.
With that, we should also move on to the question from Vasht News Television.
पाकिस्तान गेश्तरी इंडस्ट्री गुंजाइश और मरदूमी वाकस्त पर शहरी और इंडस्ट्री दमगाने देम रविया चीन पाकिस्तान ची मदद कुत का
In my opinion, industrialization is very important for any country's economy to take off. Frankly speaking, if the industrialization level of a certain country, including Pakistan, did not get greatly enhanced, any policy to enhance export will face its bottlenecks, because it is the basement for any country's export capacity. Talk about my suggestions, I think I have two humble suggestions. First is road always comes first. That is, I think, the vivid experience of China's 40 years open up policy. That is exactly what we did. You see that if we have road, either road or railways or airplanes, that makes everything possible. So that up till now, I think we already signed an agreement to upgrade ML1 railways. I think that will greatly enhance the traffic efficiency and more efficient to transfer goods and passengers. That will also, I think, to increase the economic activities in remote areas of Pakistan, not only the urban areas. The rural areas are very important. I think another issue, my second suggestion is less focus on the special economic zones, because I personally follow the CPEC very closely. And I do know that why we build so many projects, giant projects like roads and power plants. All this for the special economic zones, because that will definitely lay the foundation for industrialized Pakistan. And I'm very happy to know that already now it's been decided, and 3 SEZ will be started, I think, in the near future. Let's see.
According to the experts, the Pakistan would benefit from additional sugarcane research from China, because Chinese sugar production is much better than the Pakistan, not in terms of because they are using the high quality of the technology they're using the latest methodologies of the production, in fact. So those things were needed in order to cooperate with each other. And the sugar sector can also benefit, as the Pakistani government already approved exports of the surplus. And according to the figure, the exports of sugar will generate revenue of 110 millions of Pakistan.
That's a huge potential.
That's a huge potential.
Untapped.
So if the government providing the support to those industries who are producing sugar and its related products, this is going to be definitely a huge product. And also the last month, like Chinese ambassador met with our the finance minister, and he expressed his views that the Chinese investors are, because of the Pakistan economic policies, the Chinese investors are more willing to come to Pakistan and invest into these industries. I can give you a personal example. One of my Chinese friends, he asked me that he wanted to go to Pakistan to grow the garlic and ginger. I said, okay, what do you want? He said, I just want a local people and who can arrange a land as much as possible, and we can transfer all the systems that we is required, the garlic from the raw garlic from China, the technology, even we can, he said that we need a land and the labor, which is huge quantity available already in our country. So I think this is really a great benefit.
With that, we close the second segment of the program.
We need some kind of innovations.
But we need to preserve our culture or civilization.
Folk culture exhibition jointly held by Pakistan and China.
Media from both sides can play a very vital role.
You are watching the Belt and Road Face to Face. Let's enter the third part of our program, culture. Sugar figurine is a distinctive folk art in China. In temple fairs, parks, sugar painting stalls are everywhere. Let's watch a short video. Making sugar figurines is a traditional Chinese craftsmanship. The craftsman carries a pole with a stove on one end and sugar and tools on the other. According to different production processes, it can be divided into sugar blowing figurine, sugar painting figurine, and sugar molding figurine. When a craftsman makes a sugar blowing figurine, he melts the sugar, uses a straw to pick a little hot liquid sugar, blows air into the straw, and the hot liquid sugar will swell like a balloon, and then shapes it by pinching it, turning it, etc. As for sugar painting figurine creation, a craftsman uses hot liquid sugar to paint on the slate. When the shape is completed, the sugar painting is scooped up and a bamboo stick is glued to it. It's commonly known as sugar lights. Based mainly on mythological figures such as Arhat, the god of fortune, the god of longevity, etc. Sugar molding figurine is made by using molds. Have you ever observed this?
It's still very popular.
I was fascinated the first time I witnessed
in our
this.
country. The areas of Pakistan, and many areas of Pakistan, especially in towns and villages. But I tell you one thing. Now, even in villages, in cities,
Pakistan, okay.
In cities, even towns, villages is very common. The sugar-related products, cartoons, pictures. I mean, a lot of kind of stuff. But even in cities, when we have a traditional festivals, like Lok Birsa is one of the best example I can quote. And if you go in there, and you will find out there are lots of sugar making products you can find, not only for the kids, even for adults. And that can represents the kind of a reflection of our culture and our norms and traditions.
With the sugar figurines is that in China, most cases are the historic heroine figures. You see the common people knows. But I think as our Pakistan friend mentioned, that in the modern societies, we need some kind of innovations, such as cartoon characters, such as the new heroines, not the historical heroines. So these kind of issues just can keep our tradition live in the future. And then, definitely it is intangible, it is an important part of our cultural heritage, because no matter how much a country developed, the culture and the history, and it is the foundation of the country's development.
Either the Pakistan or China, we have to keep our traditions. We have to keep our culture. So in some areas, those kind of traditions are almost like a kind of obsolescence. But in some areas, they have changed their forms, but like the same as like the cotton candy comes in a different ways, in terms of the marshmallows and all this kind of stuff. But we need to preserve our culture or civilization in order to teach our young generation that this is what we had in our forefathers, we learned from this, and this is what we are going to do it in a different way. Like as my friend says, that we need to use it in a different technologies. In our country, I don't think there are certain kind of schools or institutions that they are teaching these things, but the people who are with this kind of industry, they are teaching to their kids as in terms of heritage, like they want
Just
to keep these things
on
generation to generation.
But is it really a preference? I mean, maybe young kids now see many more
Yes,
opportunities.
because they want to change their own professions. They want to
become
different
engineers
latest
or
things. But to some extent, the people who are working with these kind of things for years, in fact, they want to keep this thing to their next generations. So not only like being as a profession, but just being as a hobby, in fact.
I think we should follow some kind of nature rules. And my personal opinion is that on different occasions, especially the traditional Chinese holidays, this kind of art, I mean the folk art, just like the sugar figurines, always popular. But after the end of this kind of holidays, I think the common people are not so fascinated about this kind of issues. And have a humble suggestion is that we should make it more publicized, let more people know that we have this kind of cultural heritage. From speaking, you cannot just encourage the people to do these things because they will do this on their own interest. But I think make some more not advertisement, but make more popular, make it public aware that it is part of our cultural heritage. That might help.
With that, we will move on to the Vash News television studio and see what they are concerned about.
गोस्तगी ज़मानगा पाकिस्तानी चुक्का गु चिकमिटी चीज़ा लेप को तक मरुचा ई चीज़ा गिंदग नबान वती चुक्का यकदिगरे सकाफत सरपती या दुए मुल्क चे कुतकना.
I remember when I was working here in Pakistan Embassy College, there were lots of Pakistani students, they visited China. And similarly, the Chinese students, they visited Pakistan and different countries. And they learn about not only the language, even the culture related things. And if there should be a more people-to-people interaction, I think it's really going to be a great idea for both the countries, especially the kids, the new and young generation, to learn about these. Again, in terms of promoting the tourism, other than the second step, if there is more open opportunities of visiting and traveling people, like I can tell you, like in Pakistan, there's almost more than 60,000 Chinese. They're living and working in different industries and capacities. Similarly, there are thousands of Pakistanis in China. And I think if there is more interaction, a close interaction between these two countries' people, there would be a great benefit for learning, not only for the kids, for the young generation, and all
to know each other better, just to bond better.
Exactly.
This is a unique heritage we both share. How do you think we can use it to promote?
In my opinion, it is a very important role to realize important pillar of 5 connectivity under the framework of BNI, that is people-to-people connect. So that I think maybe I suggest we can have some kind of folk culture exhibition jointly held by Pakistan and China, because now we have a lot of forums. We have the think tank forum, we have the media forum, which was held I think several months ago. Why not we held this kind of folk culture exhibition? Because from speaking, the people from two countries, naturally they love each other, have very good feelings, but they do not know each other quite well. This kind of folk culture exhibition, like sugar figurine, really, I think, let each other know the basic element of each other's life and culture. So that's, I think that can play an important bridge for the people-to-people connectivity between two countries.
The media from both sides can play a very vital role, because if, like, I remember this is now the time for the Asian Civilization Convention here in Beijing, and lots of the countries' media people are here, even from Pakistan. They are famous producers. So if we exchange, like, bring our dramas here, the movies here, and with subtitles in Chinese and telecast on the cinemas, on the televisions, this is really a great impact on the people.
And then this kind of avenues can be used to promote our traditional cultures.
Exactly.
Like if in a Chinese movie, Pakistanis are watching sugar art, just saying, I mean, that's a great way to market. So maybe we can learn better strategies to market ourselves to each other. With that, on that very high note, let's close today's program. Thank you for watching. Until next time.